So the first part of this conversation, I'm in Kwesi this side of the story on the to social media. So the second part of this conversation, including Kwesi follow-up tweets and some other tweets from some colleagues of Kwesi and on your more our GroundUp honorable. And after so Kwesi Papa Mr. Danso. This is the third part of the video. I don't know if there will be another part, but this third part, the side of Glenn Boating, aka Glenn Show, and the GroundUp, because I'm a lawyer, Mr. Johnny Amable, Ababe Kasa. And we also have the emails here. I got substance for. Mr. When you need so maybe a subscribe button so no click the bell notification icon. So now if you follow you your Facebook, your Instagram, your Twitter at gossip24.com and the gossip24 TV. So you know how this whole thing started, right? It started from say you're revisiting history. How we set aside a deal in the year 2016, how far our deal about any idea to when our Kwesi posted a deal which was last night, 21st of January 2026. You may and a Kwesi post here say bibia to no asase we so a Ghana for ina for many no other than Glenn Boating aka Glenn Show and a GroundUp for because GroundUp for SA ontia $150,000 and son on Nankasa HBA you see images of himself. And I told you earlier said this whole thing has to do with Kwesi and a new project or the about say title on Air Redemption Valley. Makadi say me who images no. And even a short video because Kwesi post here, my friend no can count. Me who happen and who said no, there will be a problem for Kwesi. And wait, you know, Kwesi has to make it tweets, right? It's important, please. It's important. Kwesi has to make it tweets. So we'll leave it up to the contract. Why at the time, this is not what contract anymore. And even after says our contract near over crown on the GroundUp for you, Juma on son of Jacob, and no was in good faith. We carry GroundUp when the cheat. Was so GroundUp Sam and the Komubu. Sam Omunjaino, no one the music, Omunjaino, no the music. Now, many Kwesi Papa Mr. Danso, a train commoner. Mr. Danso, my ex has said, Kwesi contract no sign, was for 4 years.
It was before. I think this one would be somewhere 2014, 2015.
Okay.
He came home with a document.
Yeah.
And I glanced through it. And then after, I handed it over to him. You know, I don't have the legal background.
Yes.
But what I told him was, if he thinks the percentage they are offering him is good, why not? He should venture into it. Who knows what will come out of it? Yeah. I always tell him that, young man, keep pushing. Your time limit will come. And if you want to move on, you will move on.
Yeah.
Thank God for grace. The period elapsed. And the period was here, we are talking of 4 years.
Oh, so the contract was in being for just 4 years.
4 years. That is what my boy told me.
Oh, wow.
That is what my boy told me. So after the 4 years, they were still moving on.
So, Mr. Dan, so within that 4 years, what was the percentage like? Were you privy to that?
I'm sure the percentage was 40-60.
So 60 to the management and then 40 to him.
60 to the management and 40 to your brother.
Okay. Our contract no ewuye no. And a Kwesi ebe yes or percent or the new proposal come out GroundUp for. And the initial contract was 60-40. 60 for the GroundUp and then 40 for the Kwesi. Uba good. But from the I don't know. So the new proposal no, Mr. Danso enya the percentage right, but I say oh, the Kwesi catch is 70-30 and maybe or they come out GroundUp for so no be for 70. Now GroundUp for 30.
Yeah. We met around Tema Parent School.
Yeah.
That is Community 6 stretch.
Okay.
Now you know Tema Parent.
Yeah, Tepas. I know that.
Right. Very good. He met me there. We had a conversation. But what he said was, he told them that he has sacrificed a lot for the label. And you know your brother has sacrificed a lot for that label.
He has done a lot. He has done. From recording people, producing beats with Case. So, yeah.
I remember after engaging him, he said, Dad, now I want to come out with a new offer. And if they are able to afford, so be it.
Okay, so this was when you met at Tepas.
A new offer. Hello.
Yeah, hello, Mr. Dan. So this was when you met at Tepas.
Tepas, very good.
Okay.
And the new offer, I heard your brother mentioning 70-30.
So 70 for him?
Very good.
Okay.
30 for management.
Okay. So this was after the 4 years, 60-40 in favor of management elapsed. Then he said,
and even then they've traveled another year or two.
But Mr. Dasuka say, even after says our contract in the Wuri ye chekrano. Kwesi atani omu ye juma be 2 years bi. Enu mu no mo ye son of Jacob no. Ah, there's a son of Jacob e ba ya kwesi ata eni omu enye juma bi. You remember, right? Good. Now, this is the side of GroundUp omo story no. Now, according to GroundUp for no, almost any emails edema kwesi ata. And some of the emails things say in the womb, this is coming from Glenn to kwesi ata. And I'm think he said this particular email had a lot to do with Emra. Now they say rumors are circulating on social media. So we are ono Glenn need any big home affiliate di kwesiata sika any idea. No more send ma kwesiata say omo business our message you ever find in the world. Now omo the accounting report aka sa email we omo send the ama kwesiata no. Na say kwesiata pa o legal rights. So bet me audit our report when you na the kaka ho. Na onim so omo agree say edwuma bia omo ye before 2021 no 60-40 na percentage no 60 ba omo as GroundUp and as ono as Glenn no and GroundUp no na 40 akokwesiata no. Okay, no so nim say the omo ye bia after 2021 no 50-50. So nim say into after 2021 no and son of Jacob no. And before 2021, no, and a live from Nkrumah Chrome, this is not the tape 1, this is not the tape 2 live from Nkrumah Chrome volume 2 near Kakao, and only before 2021. Good. And you know, omo the accounting reports no, nyina aka ho. Omo agree, so me provide the accounting reports the amount of kwesiata no twice a year. No more detail bibia the sika na bia akọ the omo di tuaka the omo de ma obi distribution ratios and the eka ka ho omo detailing na. No name so say payments no triggered if exceed £1,000 because GroundUp no omo register here with UK. GroundUp no omo register with UK. Okay. Into kwesi ati ase dia. And no be chiche scanning na pepepepe. No pese kwesi ata enya nti ase say GroundUp project we be no omo ye na no. Omo incur a lot of expenditure. Omo invest a lot into a lot of assets. Omuni kwesiata ni oni. One of those assets a son of Jacob no. No more catch kwesiata say no if you more kai no. So omo GroundUp for no. Omo oni rights from publishing to master recordings any other rights bia ewo edwuma omuni kwesiata eye no ho. Edwuma ni na omuni kwesiata na ye. Oh, okay.
You know, after the 4 years, he didn't leave at once.
Yeah.
He still remained.
Yeah.
If I go on my archives, I'll be able to produce some materials for you.
Sure.
You see?
Yeah.
So here is a boy who was, in his own small way, trying to build a solid label.
Yeah. It's any kwesiata wapadian, right? But this time around, Glenn and the GroundUp and almost more explanation. I was a Ghana for so it's almost side of the story. Because I is a picture kwesiata painting and I onya a dime and no more penny money release and no more send so and no more contain so and no more tatano and no more popo muniachano and your sanity. Almost shall say free. According to Glenn, almost send you kwesiata email say, dear Kwesi. Omo wo pieces ha email we be find no go. Na Kwesi, when him say accounting report here dey account yi. Any ade yi, ade a tie. You know what can say be provided with accounting report twice every year because you know what Kwesi attention hye mu no. Edwuma bia ye bia before 2021. Aba be asset. A this sika brain. Enti sa asset no, Ye kwa agreement say you may be before 2021. You better 60-40. So okay. Good. Your first contract then is 60-40. It's year first 60 now for 40. Name of the back after 2021 the 50-50. 70-30 number so. 50-50. So okay so G2. Good. It's sa agreement we and a bo eduma ya bia your friend assets and this cabre no ho ban. 80 from Live from Nkrumah Chrome, Volume 1, Volume 2. This is not the tape 1, this is not the tape 2, and the year before 2021. And also, who's Kaba, ye chen is 40. Name after 2021, son of Jacob, no, and the kaka who be ana, ye know when the year and quadie. Ye chen 50-50. Fine. Now, Kwesi, when you say companies you register with UK, it is a Sikaba beto account more. Just a £1,000, and send a Sikana beto account more. Ye bema osa financial reports ni nyina na wan kasa so betu aba be audit ebi ase audio mark and you sika say na de ba go your friend is saying Apple Music, Spotify, SoundCloud, ebi a YouTube Music and the kaka obi a sika free bebi obetumi aba no aba be audit ye ma wo sa legal right no almost 30 ye wo emran e wo email no musa no mo ka che Kwesi ata say accounting reports na de che no so say third party be a finance projects ni bi any ade emra na ye collaborations no na so one kata so hwe finance reports na won say GroundUp ye boka wo assets na ya listing na ho na when him say assets we no include Son of Jacob album no Son of Jacob album na akofa manso ni na aba include Son of Jacob album no na e pese ma oti asese Son of Jacob album no your rights from publishing to master recordings and after to derive rights. Now, essence say ye owners of sa assets na ye no collaborate ye who including Son of Jacob ni 8 no. Hey, quite be a befa so bia na ye benya assets ni so mfa so. E de kakra beba ama ya pone no ye befa so. E ka ya bon we titseka na de ya settle titseka no. Nemom eka eda yenim a ohu o sa report emu ne de e wo se yetu asa aka na yenya sika ne bi so podwe nti ye the report na ka ho ama ye ka chew say yesrew follow ownership rights no na hu ne say ye owners of sa project we yes ye owners ni bi enya nko we dwuma respect the ownership rights say 50-50 en konko rewe mu nko yesa de wo dane no na aba be ye wo nko a wo dia Son of Jacob na kwa ye wo nko wo dia na wo reach out to distributors say bia live from Nkrumah Chrome no e wo GroundUp for hono GroundUp for we na wase mu ye mu fi hono na mo fa jai afeso no enko ye negotiations bia na enton ana say ensesa payments bi ewo ade ade sika kakra brɛ wɔ nwumi hu enko e bibia sa na jai so say wo spreading narrative say na yatsena wo sika so na $1 million and this is why intia big hobby flee e kan say Kwesi atade apology e ba ye no but big hobby flee anchi it's where email almost sending edema Kwesi ata now again in a follow-up email no na they say Glenn also reached out to Kwesi ata and this email Glenn sending it to Kwesi ata on the 4th of August 2025 and I'll send the email to Kwesi ata say Kwesi ata ma send you emails upon emails but what should you we need to say penny and sabi where you from our bedroom no ma send you email be in May I have a question about payments be a Kwesi ata will receive here and then who Kwesi will receive his payments no but won't church mu ka bibia what should you we need because yeah GroundUp for anyone Kwesi ata ye ntemu no ye nim say what benefit £91,370 now almost send this email way in 2025 and you know you bet me a check USD no pounds 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 to Ghana cedis 2025 right pounds to Ghana cedis 2025 so the highest maybe a pound was 20. It hovered between 16 and 20 into the average, no, right? I is 16, no. 80 Kwesi ata a benefit £91,370. times 16. So that means say if I average in the crown, that means 1.4,061,920 Ghana cedis. And Kwesi Attah a benefit here from royalty disbursements. And a GroundUp for say after say Kwesi Attah nyas have benefits we no. Wa form wechi akọ platoon for honum akọ sika puduo $118,712 US. 8 cents bi edaso. Iti ano so yenhwe. Now, eno ne USD to Ghana cedis 2025. Yenhwe rate no. Around October na dollar no cedi around 12 cedis. If I say be around that time, you have 12 cedis, right? Because of sending August, you have 12 cedis. Let's just be fair. It's GroundUp for Chira. Kwesi Attah, aside sa 1.4 million Ghana cedis no one man in royalties near DNO. Almost also say Kwesi Attah from which aqua platoon for aqua $118,712 US times. That means say Kwesi Attah so akwaji another 1.4 million Ghana cedis biom and if you platoon for a honor. Sana GroundUp for person which from this email. Say Kwesi Attah or man royalties benefits any idea 91,370 pounds. Kwesi Attah also from which projects for my and Kwesi Attah platoon for her aqua Jessica Pudo US no $118,000. One can't show more. No mama no accounting breakdown did that. Accounting breakdown no crab but she say Kwesi Attah ediomoka. Kwesi Attah ediomoka. Kwesi Attah ediomoka 84,830 pounds. 84,830 pounds. It's here calculate 84,830 pounds. So that means Kwesi Attah ediomoka 1.3 million Ghana cedis. And Kwesi Attah ediomoka. Omo mpene tutu mpene noa. Oma send Kwesi Attah email, follow-up emails on fee. Oma send the WhatsApp messages since May on fee. Ono grande personally na send Kwesi Attah fee. Was also reaching out to Kwesi Attah papa. Say Kwesi Attah papa mba no mo nka asem no hwe de asem meka. Which may assure say what kai say Kwesi Attah papa kai say the Glenn FN no. Emo ni Glenn ACCU. Emo ni ne ba Kwesi Attah be bon komo be Kwesi Attah kan say contract no. E oni Glenn ne di ho komo. It's a Glenn free say asem bi wo one penny apa wo so mo kan. Ade na Glenn ne mba ne ho.
This past December was exactly a year.
Yeah.
Glenn was in town. He called me and I picked up. And he raised some issues and I decided to meet him face to face for us to discuss certain things on parental level.
Yeah.
So when I met him, I first rebuked him by telling him that when issues were becoming a bit difficult, what actually stopped him from engaging some of we, the parents?
Yeah.
Just to see if we can patch up every rough edge for you guys to move on as one unit.
Yeah.
But you've waited all this while for your boy to move on. So as a parent, now what can I do? He said there are some payments that went to your brother.
Yeah.
That is Kwesi.
Yeah.
And those monies needs to be paid to the label. And when I came back from meeting Glenn to meet my boy,
Yeah.
I said, I met your former manager. And he asked me, what did he say? I said, he said they have made some payment into your account. There he said, Daddy, when we were signing the contract, you were not there. So if he has anything to do, it should be me and him.
Yeah.
And our lawyer. Who should have that engagement? And I caution him that he should make sure that those issues surrounding them is resolved.
But Glenn so che from this email or sending my Kwesi Arthur on the 4th of August, say, was sending Kwesi Arthur direct WhatsApp messages. Kwesi Arthur infi. Again, when you email a Glenn Etchera or sending my Kwesi Arthur on the 9th of January 2026. And from this email, you can see, say Glenn complaining, say Kwesi Arthur, and you see old video be. Just say, omo GroundUp for the try. And no, a GroundUp for a Juma. And omo ye and no money Kwesi Arthur a Juma a bomuno. Now Kwesi Arthur be say omo permission. Because GroundUp for the only Kwesi Arthur na kasa ditum. So omo only publishing masters and their account. Kwesi Arthur may be some permission. When you see some video no, Kwesi Arthur also you see images. I want the album artwork nimu. I need an move find and say worrying. Or the new project, redemption value. Oh, man, authorization be no course, yes, I did. What is it? And you move on now, Kwesi Arthur producing new song, no? So obey audio, obey deo. I'm any problem. Oh, any problem. Name no visual materials no. Visual materials no, and no more problem wo. After no new audio no. Kwesi Arthur said that they share sa video na obo we ni mu na se no. And say video no ye new. Video no de e omo GroundUp for adwuma. Se Kwesi Arthur the new audio be sha se a make video no new. E ma Kwesi Arthur ndada no uti omo say. For the avoidance of doubt, GroundUp Chale does not assert any rights in the new song, sound recording, musical composition, or audio snippets. Anyway, you fa. This notice, I almost sending solely relates solely to the unauthorized use of projected visual materials. The addition or substitution of new audio does not remove the requirement to clear and license the underlying visual content. It's when basically permission, yeah, material now we use it. What should that faculty quite be now using material in use and what to say? Akaka pictures na boom. Who is a yebe no more can actually Kwesi Arthur say Kwesi Arthur and for license and secure license bia or more granted license bia so use video no. Again, Kwesi Arthur and the pictures no akwa share permanent album artwork mu. As I know one almost GroundUp Chale for no edia. But there is a way out. There is a way out for Kwesi Arthur in all of this. The way out no, and he say the edi kind. Ono Kwesi Arthur no ebetro say ampa material you use ye na oni authorization oni wo kwan so use and o use here. The etoso biom and he say Kwesi Arthur o mama the invoice unsettled invoice no eno no o mama the invoice so you see adwuma no ne ade no because one je on license and obey you see here. What I say afa so ontro say fiti ene koyi on you see ade bi e GroundUp Chale edia ebiom ohu picture bi a GroundUp Chale de twa na on fa ne sanka ohu video bi a GroundUp Chale de twa na on fa ne sanka because omo bo ho ka o mama ne ho invoice on tua no nko. Now, as a matter way, someone resolve it within 7 days. Omo rights no. Say, omo ko platforms no. Eko make sure say platforms be enforce it. Rights ne dia momo. Now, say take down who be taking it down one. It's a note na Kwesi Arthur chowo e won the press way ni mu say. So when who enyum ni biom or even dot base hono ma. Omo fan share Glenn because Glenn na man to me for environment tour. And a GroundUp for Esaso chua letter, Esaso de mark, Esaso send another email de mark Kwesi Arthur. Eka me say 15th of August 2025. Almost sending the email. Eka so much short messages near get their man or responding about a cano 84,830 pounds a cano. Or more than the royalties be aka. Royalties be no more than a cow home because a cadaho Kwesi Arthur into as a cano. Sasi cano for a chico G, no, as I Canada swada ho. Omo person be ho court ni ade e Canada so ada ho omo discuss omo ntena senka ho asa waso akokofa omo pictures omo video e de akokoto album so Intendie. Glenn, mo lawyer. Echo Twitter space. I say about Penny Kwame Dazi a host here so. I say on that space no. And a Sully breaks. Why won't him Sully breaks no? Kotie Kwesiata back on the wall. Not here Sarkodie, the highest album this new also. Title on air silence. Sully, a Ghanaian or a poet or a spoken word artist or a poet. An amazing person by all standards. So he can say, hey, or no more time a GroundUp movement in the chassis. Or answer on what the pen is with Pasoma Kwesiata. Now, as shocking is say, hey, Kwesiata to me a glance. Okay, you know. Hey, as shocking.
Start of this journey. I'm talking 2014, 15 with Glenn and Kwesi in the studio, sitting in the studio when Glenn is there and Kwesi's trying to record and he can't record and I say, what's wrong with him? And Glenn says, oh, he's hungry. Let me buy you food. You know, before the GroundUp logo even came to manifestation, I've seen this story from the Genesis. And for it to get to this point and for people to run with a narrative that's come on the internet is quite tragic. I want to say that Kwesi is like a little brother to me, you know. At some point, that's how we all felt about him, you know. And I think one of the biggest misconceptions, I think there is a wider conversation to be had about the state of music and contracts and all of that kind of stuff. But I think where this conversation has started off, the premises is completely wrong. So it's not a question of bad contracts or like someone cheating someone. It's a question of greed, ego, and pride. You see, the one of the things about Glenn that everyone keeps on saying in this conversation that is completely wrong is that he's a record label, he's a manager, he is a producer. Every artist that he's worked with, I've seen him produce. Because I've been in the studio with all these artists, and anyone will testify to that. Ralph, Wafayao, you know, Big Homie, all these people. And I think what people don't understand, when we see Kwesi as an amazing talent, we see the individual because we're consumers. But what we don't understand is, and I say this respectfully, Kwesi was a product that was created. And although he was the mouthpiece, he was not the entire think tank behind that project, behind his career, his artistry. Everyone has contributed. So all these people I mentioned, Ralph, Wafayab, if you go back to the first tapes, you will see some of these guys in the background. You will hear me on the first tape. You even see all of this stuff. I've heard tracks. Grind Day, I heard the first version. I heard the second verse. I heard the verse when Glenn said, take this out, take that out. So what we need to understand here, although this was phrased as a management artist relationship, this was a partnership between brothers and friends in a small part, in Tema. You know, they brothers, they came together and they were like, we're going to build this vision and you're going to lead this. Anybody who's been around the story understands that. Now, as everyone was saying when it comes to artists, when artists get to a certain stage in their career, and this is, I'm not blaming my bro, do you understand? I just hate the way he came out of what he said. They have a lot more different opportunities.
Okay.
They have a lot more access to different people whispering in their ear. They have a lot of different people in their corner, and there's nothing wrong with taking those opportunities. No one will want to hold somebody back, but it's about taking those opportunities the right way. So, you know, so for my bro to come online and say someone is threatening his life and defaming someone's character, it's playing victim because you know that's what the masses will consume. So this GroundUp story and this artist, Kwesi spitting in the petrol station, him spitting in the petrol station in Shell, that wasn't his idea. That's the thing that they were doing in the UK. We sat down, we watched the videos and we like, this would be great. Let's put him together. So imagine you built something with your brother, both of you in partnership. And then at some point they say, I want to take all of this and you don't have any share in it. It doesn't make sense business-wise. It doesn't make sense socially. It doesn't make sense morally. But I think when you try to translate that in this public circus that we're in, it then becomes this person is trying to cheat me. This person is trying to take advantage.
All right.
You see what I'm saying, my
Yes,
bro?
boss. Okay.
So I got the story. The lawyer's contracts. I've seen the contracts. I got the story from top to bottom. So it's definitely not what's being said on the internet. And I don't think it's right that you can do that to a man. You can cause it, you know, you don't know what you can cause to a man's mental health. And obviously we have to hold it down as brothers, but we got to do this right, man.
Glenn, mo lawyer. Echo Twitter space. I say about Penny Kwame Dazi a host here so. Emo no so di nchiremu ba ya wasem no. Sehwe Kwesi atakwa kwaji payment no. Wan kan kire omo. E na ofa echi kwaji payment nti ye reporter platoon for the bomb. No more say, Kwesi Arthur kwa payment. Meanwhile, Kwesi Arthur is about online because we receive a dime. But kwa payment. O sa ye kwa na yatsa ni sika so. Sika no first na ba omutu ama ground up. E ba ni say na Kwesi Arthur fa echa kwa sa payment no. Glenn lawyer.
And this is the second issue that I was talking about since the Kwesi and Glenn part ways, or Kwesi and GroundUp Charlie parted ways, because it came to light from accounting statements that were sent from the distributor that same son of Jacob asset that I was talking about, that Kwesi has been making claims to, Kwesi went and collected $118,712
From
and that
Platoon.
amount from Platoon, and that amount was charged to the asset. That amount was charged to the album. So guess what? Nobody's making any money from that album. GroundUp Charlie is not making any money from that album, because that album is in the red in Platoon's records. When Platoon gets money, they are recouping that 118,000 that they've advanced.
In previous releases, who took the money when the dividends were out there? Who took the money? Was it a label or was it Kwesi Arthur? Who was the money paid to, if I should put it that way?
Which one? Which money?
Previously, before the renewal of the contract, before the release of Son of Jacob.
GroundUp. As the owner of the
So
asset, GroundUp will
why
receive the
why
money.
was that the $118,000 from Platoon paid to Kwesi Arthur after the renewal?
That's why, if you recall the emails from the year before, the GroundUp mentioned aspects of stop going to distributors and disputing our rights to the assets, stop negotiating for money directly on the assets without us, because that's the situation. If you have a deal with somebody and now the person goes to third parties and says, oh, I no longer work with this person no longer has any rights to these assets, I'm the one who owns the assets, I'm the one who is entitled to the assets, so pay any money to me. If the person doesn't fully do their due diligence and all of that, they will pay the money to you.
Is that what happened in Kwesi's case?
We were not there when he took the money, but that is the
But did
only.
he have the right to take the money without the consent of the record label?
Definitely not, and that's why it's a subject of complaint.
So how could that be possible? Why did Platoon also pay the money to him? Have you spoken to Platoon?
Unfortunately, I don't work for Platoon, but these are the issues that we have, and of course, that's why there's an issue between us and Kwesi.
Now so tie Glenn mo lawyer na is your person chemu say ono oni bi eti kura Kwesi Arthur ye de oye no. What is odun bia on tia say Kwesi Arthur no o pese bibia working in his favor. Meanwhile, son of Jacob, one kasa go tweety. Say oh good faith ni ade one kasa so press statement and as a press release ade by wo say omo na ye son of Jacob ni bom na since then
From the exploitation, we get it and we distribute it according to our ratios. You go and take the money and you take it all for yourself. And you are claiming that you own that album when we worked with you on that album. So you see, there's an email where Glenn details all the work that he did on that album to say he doesn't understand why Kwesi is claiming that he owns that album. So, so
Just
the the
what was
the
contribution to the production, to the promotion, marketing of that
hold on,
album? What
hold
was
on, hold
you?
on, hold on, hold on.
Okay.
Yes. So the point is that you cannot in any way, shape, or form say that you have not made any money from the work that you put out when you were with GroundUp Charlie. And you keep vacillating between Son of Jacob was released under GroundUp Charlie and Son of Jacob was not released under GroundUp Charlie. Even today, I think, in his tweet, he says something about he carried the label on his back, and based on that, he renewed the contract and he did Son of Jacob. That I believe there's a tweet like that from today. So why would you in one instance be making such statements and in another instance be disputing ownership rights to that asset? So that's not even a matter for, to waste too much time on. It's quite clear that you want to approbate and reprobate. You want to just do things in a way that will favor you. And the business world doesn't work that way.
It's na Kwesi Arthur no odisi kind of tweka no odu won tiase nkomo ka no mo pesa asem no beka ka court nkomo pesa mo ka ofie only for say Kwesi Arthur e dis statement we beba obi ansi ne kwan say ma ne mfa nyomba odi this is not the tape 3 Joseph ana ebayi obi ansi ne kwan.
But in all of that, if you see, and I'm like the emails, then says, look, Kwesi, the actions you've taken have very serious consequences. We really need to discuss this. Can you get a lawyer? Can you sit with us? Can we have a face-to-face meeting? I want us to solve this amicably. I've spoken to your father. I've scheduled a meeting between us and your father because we kind of like family how the relationship was. We had a meeting with your father. You didn't show up. Your father said he was going to reach out to you and get back to us. We didn't hear from him. So you see all these communication in the email. It's not. I don't want to come and involve myself on he say, she say, and the email speaks to everything and all the efforts that are going on to privately and amicably resolve this without having to vindicate legal rights in court. So it's really odd that after all of that, you would then come and see such statements that paint, Glenn and GroundUp to be monsters who are threatening, bullying someone, and statements that you've not made a dime from the music you put out while you were under GroundUp.
Jonathan, he also says that Glenn is working constantly around the clock for him to never put out music again.
Yes,
Is this something
from
you can say?
where I sit, I can tell you that is also not true. There has never been any instance where Glenn has prevented him from putting out any music. The only situation, I mean, look, like I said, Kwesi left GroundUp in 2022, son of Jacob. After that, since then, hasn't he been putting out work? When have you heard these complaints? He has put out work. This is not his first time that he's first even monetized content through even. This will probably be his second or so. And so the picture shouldn't really be painted like, I mean, to be honest, I like Kwesi Arthur. I love his music. I love the personality. Like, this was a story that we saw from, where it wasn't anything to now become something. So there's nobody who is out there trying to, put him in harm's way or destroy his career. Nobody has been contacted to prevent him from putting out new music. The only situation that happened, and it's very direct, it's very specific, it's very limited to the use of the material without appropriate authority. He was notified twice by email. He did not even dignify the emails with a response. An email was sent to Even to let Even know that this is the situation. And you have the email to Even. You can read it out or put it out there, let people see the language that was used. Even in that email, Even we're told that the matter should be handled internally. It's a private issue that is subject to discussion. And so we are making all arrangements to have the discussions with Kwesi to ensure that the situation is resolved. But it looks like once they got that notification and perhaps they notified him, then it resulted in this emotional manipulation where we are seeing where all these palpable falsehoods, the evidence abounds.
It's okay, also sure say sa email no almost send ye no any notification no de ma Kwesi Arthur and na ma Kwesi Arthur e ba be church or sansem no e was social media so. But why disappointed? Why disappointed? Because no a brotherly thing and no more building no. Ati ase. Omo nti ase say Kwesi Arthur etumi ayesa. E be gu Glenn ni mo ase ama we painting Glenn black. Obi ase Glenn nye, obi ase Glenn nye. Meanwhile, it is I go substitute for. Wait me actually comment section. We air the side of Glenn and GroundUp. Magraheb.